We've all heard the name Krishna, right? I mean, it's often said that just remembering him brings this incredible sense of peace and wipes away life's sorrows. But today, we're diving a little deeper. We're going beyond those standard narratives to explore the truly multifaceted and honestly fascinating personality of Lord Krishna. We'll be walking through some incredibly revealing, largely untold stories in this explainer. We're going to examine specific, lesser-known events that perfectly highlight exactly why this ancient figure remains so absolutely captivating and profoundly relevant to our lives right now.
So who really is Lord Krishna? I want you to completely reconsider your perception of him. To truly understand why he's known as the ultimate complete avatar, we have to unpack the immense complexity of his character. You see, in Hindu philosophy, deities are usually associated with very specific, defining virtues. But Krishna? Well, he breaks that mold entirely.
Just think about the sheer contrast here. When we picture Lord Shiva, we immediately see a calm, ascetic yogi deep in meditation, right? Crescent moon on his forehead. When we think of Lord Rama, it's all about duty, humility, and absolute righteousness. But then look at Krishna's incredibly diverse timeline. As an infant, he defeated the demoness Putana. He casually showed the entire universe inside his mouth to his mother, Yashoda. He was a mischievous child, stealing butter. He danced with the gopis. He conquered the giant serpent Kaliya. And then he stood in the middle of the intensely bloody battlefield of Kurukshetra to deliver the ultimate philosophical discourse, the Bhagavad Gita. It is an unbelievably wide spectrum of roles for one single being.
Now, according to the scriptures, every living being is born with specific divine qualities which are called kalas, and 16 is the absolute maximum. Possessing all 16 elevates a being to what's called a complete avatar, or a sampurna avatar. And Krishna? He is celebrated as possessing all 16. He literally encompasses the entire range of the human and divine experience. It's the whole shebang.
All right, let's get into our first story. Devotee of devotees. We're looking at the surprising dynamic between Shiva, Narada, and Krishna.
This story completely flips the traditional hierarchy of the gods right on its head. Just imagine the emotional weight of Lord Shiva, the god of gods, going to such extraordinary lengths just to see Krishna in his baby form. The scriptures tell us that seeing a deity in their infant form is incredibly rare. It's something even other gods wait eons for. So Shiva actually plays dress-up. He disguises himself as a wandering yogi and travels all the way to Gokul. Well, when the sage Narada witnessed the immense difficulties Shiva went through just to get this one little glimpse, he confronted both Shiva and Krishna to figure out the true hierarchy here. And Shiva immediately declared that he has always been Krishna's devotee, serving him in every single avatar.
Hearing Shiva's declaration, Krishna just smiles and drops this profound truth. Since Shiva is my devotee, I am his devotee. Boom, mic drop. This proves that the Lord of the universe actually considers himself the servant of his devotees. It's a massive shift in perspective, right? While Krishna might be the Lord of the cosmos, he willfully binds himself to the pure love and wishes of those who are devoted to him.
Moving on to Section 2. The Gopis' selfless love. Finding joy in unexpected ways.
Building on that exact theme of devotion, picture this scene. The gopis decided to prepare a lavish, absolutely incredible feast for Krishna. After wrapping up their own daily chores, they spent hours painstakingly cooking all of his favorite dishes. They beautifully plated this grand meal and excitedly brought it to the house of Nand, Krishna's father. But when they got there, they found Krishna completely full, already eating with other guests, while his mother, Yashoda, was washing his hands. The room instantly fell quiet. The other guests naturally assumed the gopis would be utterly heartbroken that all their hard work was seemingly wasted. But you know what? The guests were entirely wrong. The gopis didn't cry. Instead, they put down their pots and began to dance with absolute pure joy. When a very confused guest asked how they could possibly be so happy when their food wasn't even eaten, they explained that they had only cooked the food hoping to see a look of divine satisfaction on Krishna's face. And when they walked in, they saw that exact look of satisfaction. It didn't matter whose food he ate, they simply said, "His satisfaction is our joy." This perfectly teaches us the absolute essence of selfless love, literally removing the ego completely from the act of giving.
Let's pivot to Section 3. The perfect guru. We're talking about strategic guidance in seemingly impossible situations.
We're going to shift gears entirely now, moving from peaceful village devotion to the high-stakes, chaotic, and frankly bloody battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna's young son, Abhimanyu, has just been brutally killed, trapped in a tactical military formation by the Kaurava army. And the strategist behind trapping him? A warrior named Jayadratha. Consumed by just pure grief and rage, Arjuna makes an impossible vow. He swears he will kill Jayadratha by sunset the very next day. And if he fails, he vows to step into a fire and self-immolate. You can just feel the intense anxiety of Arjuna's ticking clock deadline here, and the impossible odds stacked against him, especially since the enemy now knows exactly what his plan is.
The ticking clock was basically deafening. The Kauravas were thrilled. They knew if they just protected Jayadratha for one single day, Arjuna would kill himself and they would win the whole war. So in the morning, they hid Jayadratha deep behind a massive wall of soldiers. By the afternoon, Arjuna was fighting like an absolute machine, slaughtering thousands, but he just couldn't break through those endless ranks. As evening approached and the sun started to dip low, Arjuna was literally running out of time.
But just when you think it couldn't possibly get any worse, we introduce the ultimate catch-22. This made Arjuna's vow virtually a suicide mission anyway. You see, Jayadratha's father was a powerful sage who had granted his son a deadly boon. Whoever kills Jayadratha and causes his head to fall to the ground will have their own head instantly explode into 1,000 pieces. Yeah. So even if Arjuna somehow managed to fight his way to Jayadratha and cut off his head, Arjuna would still die the exact second that head hit the dirt. It was a seemingly inescapable trap.
So here comes Krishna's brilliant, totally out-of-the-box strategy. Seeing the sun setting, Krishna uses his divine weapon, the Sudarshan chakra, to temporarily eclipse the sun. The whole battlefield goes dark. The Kauravas, thinking it's sunset and they've actually won, start celebrating. Jayadratha arrogantly steps out of hiding to gloat. And instantly, Krishna withdraws the chakra, and boom, the bright sun shines again. It wasn't sunset. Jayadratha panics, tries to run, but before Arjuna shoots, Krishna acts as the perfect guru. He stops Arjuna and gives him a hyper-specific instruction. Shoot your arrow with such force that Jayadratha's severed head flies miles away and lands directly in the lap of his meditating father. So Arjuna fires, the head flies and lands right in the father's lap. Startled, the father stands up, naturally dropping his son's head to the ground. Because the father caused the head to touch the ground, the deadly boon turns on him and the father perishes instead. Arjuna's vow is complete and his life is saved. Just incredible.
Which brings us to Section 4, Modern Life Wisdom. Let's talk about translating these ancient stories into everyday relevance.
Now, those are absolutely incredible stories, right? But let's ground this for a second. Why does all of this actually matter to you today? Well, by synthesizing the wisdom from these ancient texts, we can apply Krishna's teachings to deeply improve our own modern chaotic lives. Just like the gopis, we can learn to reduce our daily stress by detaching our ego from our actions. Finding joy simply in the act of giving, rather than obsessing over the exact outcome or getting validation. From the story of Arjuna, we learn that joy and sorrow, they're just two sides of the same coin. We really can't escape them. But with a calm, stable mind, and crucially, by seeking the right guidance or mentorship, a guru, we can navigate situations that seem completely impossible. Arjuna had the strength, for sure, but he absolutely needed Krishna's perspective to see the solution.
So, I want to leave you with a final thought to really reflect on. What impossible situation in your life right now is your personal Jayadratha? And more importantly, could it be solved not by fighting harder, but by seeking a little strategic guidance and shifting your perspective entirely? Because sometimes the greatest obstacles don't actually require more force, they just require a completely new way of seeing things. Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive explainer, and as always, keep learning.